Alright, in my last video you saw me using my glue and sticking it in my workbench to keep the glue down near the tip. So I thought, and I've struggled with this many times, the glue, you want it ready to go and you want the glue to be at the tip. So I decided to come up with a glue bottle holder, and I want to use something that's easily found to catch the glue, because you'll get drips out of here, or God forbid you leave the tip open, it'll start running out. But this is what I came up with. So I went through my shop and I found these two pieces of wood that just happened to be the size that I was looking for, and then a 3-ounce Dixie cup that fits in this 1.5-inch hole. I believe that's what it is. I better double check that. 1.75 inch, sorry, 1.75 inch size hole. Okay. And then this, I don't know what size hole this is. Let's call it 2 3/8. No, sorry. 2.5. Okay. And for this standard 16-ounce glue bottle, that's a pretty good fit. All right. So I've cut the pieces so that the holes are pretty well centered. And this just being a prototype, I'm gonna be fine with that. Okay, it works. The glue hasn't even really dried yet, but I did change something I mentioned earlier. This is 3 inches now, not 4, and it sits in there pretty nice. But here's one thing I want to change. When you tip it up, you can see that the cup protrudes through, and yes, it keeps it centered, but I don't want the cup there. I want it just off the tabletop. I want this to be sitting on my worktop, not the cup. So about the only difference or change I would make would be to add a little to the bottom of this, you know, 1/4 inch or whatever kind of material I've got, or make it out of solid wood. But now that I've proven that this will work, I'm going to make one that looks prettier. So, all right, I thought I had a hole saw that I could use to cut this, but I didn't. So I just used my origin. Got a pretty nice hole. Got it very, very close to centered. I'll show you my mark here. So you can see, and the reason it shifted on me was because I had to move it to put these cards underneath. So you can see there that it shifted this way on me, but the outside of the line is gone. So I think that I've got it pretty much dead nut centered here. Call that 5/8. And I'd call that 5/8. So that's good, because you want the other hole to be, you want the centers to line up. So that's good. That'll work well. All right, I got my base built up for my block. 2 1/2-inch pieces or 2 12mm pieces. And what I'm doing here is trying to locate so that I drill the same center on these pieces. So I put my 2.5-inch hole on top, traced it, and then took my compass that I used to lay out my 2.5-inch circle earlier, and you know, going back to Geometry 101, put this on the outside of the circle, Go to another spot. And that should be my center. I'll just double check here. Yep. Okay, so there's center. I'll get a mark on that so my drill bit doesn't wander. Okay. Now the other thing I've done when I did this to make sure they register the same is I put a couple witness marks on the back here so that I know the direction I want them to go. These have both been squared up, so we're good that way. Okay, and all the material I've got here that I'm using has all been ripped to the same width. I should have done that before I did this, but it's close enough. That's why I did the witness mark, to make sure that it is centered. Let me just check it this way. Yeah, it's a hair off, but not by much. So we'll go this way. That's good. That my drill press, I'd have to rechuck this, but my drill press has run out. That looks good. The spur of my bit was just starting to come through there. Good. All right, let's go see if we can figure out how we're going to put this together. Okay, so here's my base, my bottle holder that keeps it from tipping. Okay, that's centered up. What I plan to do is use my can top here to arc that, the base and this. The one thing I am going to do here, I believe, is cut this back a little bit and tighten this up. Maybe take off 3/8 of an inch or so. I think that'll be all right, because I'll have the sides on here. That'll reinforce things, and I'll be good to go. So parts are laid out. Like I said, just use my can top to lay out this radius for the top and bottom. And then here's going to be my sides. 3x2, and using that same radius to create the little indentation. So I'll make two of these and dress these up, and then we'll put them together. And one thing I want to do before I put this together is I want to round this edge over. So I'm going to do that on the router table. But just take a quarter round bit and just kind of touch the edges here a little bit. The rest of it should be okay. I'll just sand those edges. Okay, the glue up. I've got this piece of scrap here that's 3/4. This is 1/2 inch. I'm going to butt this up, and then I'm going to use this as a way to keep it aligned, and just do a friction fit or a friction glue until it gets a decent set on it. Then take it out and re-clamp it. So this will always be my reference. See if I can squeeze one in here. Not too much pressure on this one. All right, prototype. Pretty crude, but it gave me the idea of what I wanted to do. Finished product. That's turned out really nice. No glue, no joints of any kind, just friction glue fit, and that's going to hold together just fine. So got this rounded over. All the edges are sanded so it's soft to the touch, and it's going to be just great. There you go. I guess I can give you some dimensions of what I ended up here with. Uh, 4 3/8 tall. Really close to 4 inches wide here from the apex to the back. Yeah, I guess thick. 3 5/8 wide. So 2.5 inch hole, 1 3/4 inch hole, 1 inch base, and the rest is all, well, it's all 1/2 inch or 12 inch Baltic birch ply. So that part is all you need. And the 3-ounce Dixie cup. Looks like my old home state of Minnesota right there. Thanks for watching.